Immigration Day, and this is the handoff. This is the send-off of the president. Looking back, how do you think Biden will be?
All right. You turn me up in my ears a little bit. There goes Biden.
Hey, peace out.
Peace out. And here we go.
Mm-hmm.
All this, all the changes, everybody's been following for the most part, I do believe, but I'm gonna do something here that I just found out about.
Hello, Oregon.
It is a hotline for. Oh, here, I'll just play it for you.
Yeah.
How's that?
Pretty amazing.
I'll just call the number. Here we go.
This is a multilingual message and hotline. Thank you for calling the Oregon Department of Justice's Civil Rights Hotline for reporting hate crimes, vice incidents, or violations of Oregon sanctuary laws. Please dial 1 for English or any form of relay.
Any form of violation of sanctuary law.
Yeah. Racial bias or sanctuary, Oregon sanctuary.
Pretty interesting.
From who? Oh, brought to you by the Oregon Department of Justice.
Oregon Department of Justice telling you that we are upholding our sanctuary laws.
Yeah, and so then within that, they have the purvey of every local police department or sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Under their jurisdiction. They can, take and go and use any of those to come if there's a violation that's been reported.
Yeah, well, I know this personally just because I know people that work for the state, and then then they have you have that one video of the guy doing the whistleblowing. You can throw that up real quick. Let's I know it's not in order. If you can find it. Yeah, that guy right there. Yeah.
Hey, Donald Trump, you might want to take a look at the state of Oregon, who is actively instructing their employees to interfere with your mass deportation operation. Guys, this is amazing. I love that I've only been back a week and y'all are already sending me some really good sources. I just got an inbox message from a state employee who says, I saw your post about Oregon being a sanctuary state. I'm a state employee. Please don't tell anybody I messaged you. And we recently had to take mandatory training on never giving any information out to a federal or any other law enforcement in regards to illegal immigrants if questioned, unless we have a signed warrant from a judge. They also asked us to get all the information on who was making the requests and who was with them in order to report them. I've worked here blank years, and this is the first time we've ever been forced to do this training. So as you know, the Trump administration has said they will personally hold officials responsible across the nation for interfering with their deportation operations, even threatening to prosecute and put people in jail. Donald Trump, get your people over to the state of Oregon right here. They are actively instructing their employees to not comply.
For interfering with their deportation operations, even threatening to prosecute.
So there you go. You have, so I do know this also personally. I know this because I know people that work for the state. And that is exactly what's happening. They're doing training. So they're spending your tax money on how to stop the federal government. Isn't it interesting that they didn't have a problem with welcoming every illegal immigrant and then having the sanctuary laws set up to where if they rape, murder, steal, or kill
anything criminal,
they're not charged.
Yeah, they have full clemency. The governments of Oregon, Washington, and California going completely against the people is just the way I'll say it. It's not against Trump, it's against people is what it is.
Yeah,
it's against family, it's against public safety.
Yeah, this isn't a Trump issue.
It's against common sense.
This is against common sense.
Yeah. Really is.
I'm a fan, or I'm a believer in righteousness and doing what is right. In other words, using common sense.
Yeah.
And going after if they're criminals, and I've told people this, they're not going to go at the priority is not law-abiding illegal immigrants. That's not the priority.
No.
The priority is going after these guys that have been convicted or have been arrested for something that is illegal, and they're going after them.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's collateral damage of people that live with them. And they said that's what's going to happen. They said, unfortunately, there's going to be collateral damage, that if they find somebody illegal that is living with these people, they're gone also.
I mean, is it collateral damage, or is it just,
No.
it's called reinforcement of the law. It's
No.
called rule of law.
It's the rule of law.
And that's been unfortunately greatly lacking in this country, and in specific states even more in the last 4 years.
I mean, if you look at everything that's going on, Trump signed, he did more in one day than Biden did in a whole year. He signed 200 executive orders.
Wham.
Pardon the J6 crew. It's not all of them. Some of them, he said that we're going to have to look into it.
Yeah, because they actually, whether or not they were baited, because all of them were baited.
Yeah.
But whether or not they were baited, they still made a dumb decision and harmed something or somebody. They destroyed property.
They did something they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing that day would have been to walk away. But a lot of people were arrested just because they were on film, and they weren't even involved.
Right.
They were just there.
They happened to be there.
And we know people that were there, but they never even stepped foot on the Capitol building property.
Yeah.
And they were arrested.
Yeah.
We know them personally.
Yeah.
And
and the people that, just because they were there, then they had FBI specifically showing up at their house, asking them all these questions, going through all of their phone records, doing all of this stuff. When they showed up for a peaceful protest, did nothing other than be at a peaceful protest, and yet they're being treated like they are domestic terrorists. And that's, you want to talk about bias. Right there is what bias is, when you have a government that is incarcerating and persecuting through unrighteous detention. They're treating people, whether they're veterans or whether they're Christians, as if they're domestic terrorists. That's bias.
It's bad. They didn't get a trial.
No.
They were in maximum securities.
Yeah.
Treated like dirt.
Yeah.
But the atrocity, really bad. And these are American citizens. They're not foreign terrorists. I mean, then you have Antifa burning the crap out of everything. Yeah. Beating people up, destroying federal property, and that's a peaceful protest.
Mostly peaceful. Yes.
Yeah. And even right now in Portland, they just got through firebombing the ICE department in Portland. Antifa did. Yeah. Is that it right there?
Oh, here you go.
Do you have the video for that? Yeah. Go ahead and play the video.
And of course, they're videoing themselves. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. University of Washington, they banned a women's empowerment. A women's empowerment meeting. I don't understand. Yeah, go ahead and play that.
Come on.
Yeah, there's no.
All right, so we're heading into the quad right now. You got this kid, Gabriel Jones, Antifa. You see this kid? He's getting his comrades because they spot me.
Andy.
Yeah, Andy.
How you doing, man? So this is the quad. This is called the Liberated Zone. These Antifa goons now just following me. They're all scurrying away. They put my address on the umbrellas. You gonna let me walk on a public street here, guys? Mental health check-in. Interesting. Just mind my business. Hey, get your hey, back up. Oh, look at this. Look at the shield. Look at this guy. Look at the chubby kids. Come on. Yep. Oh man.
Yeah, because that's what matters.
Wow, look at
That's all right, that's
how
good.
many
So you look at all of this, and they do. They need to be designated as a domestic terrorist because they terrorize people. That's what they were doing. You know, it's not a peaceful protest. That's not peaceful. They're going after the guy.
Yeah. Because he exposes. He
He
does
does.
the same thing that they're doing. Oh well.
You know
then-
what? He didn't start out that way. You know that?
Yeah, he was very liberal.
He was actually extremely liberal and was actually on their side trying to report their side, and they beat the living poo out of him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I'm not on your side anymore.
Forget you guys. So he knows a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying, he's walking up to that at that University of Washington or a site or wherever it was that he was at there, and he knows people. He knows the people that are there that are engaged in all this stuff.
So it's interesting, you have all of this going on, and those guys aren't thrown in jail, but you got J6. I really didn't mean to get on the J6 thing, but huh? We have videos of J6. Yeah, go ahead and throw up some stuff.
So many people, 5 people have committed suicide because they could not endure the brutality of what Joe Biden's Department of Justice has done.
True.
For them, justice is coming too late, and no pardon is going to help them. But I will say, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to President Trump, because I know I've been told that so many people, Republicans, were giving him pushback and telling him not to pardon the January 6th defendants. But on his first day in office, he kept his promise. And he went in and he pardoned all of us. And I know that this is going to relieve a lot of people's pain. It's the first step, I think, towards bringing a little bit of healing and a little bit of justice for so many people whose lives have been absolutely destroyed by Joe Biden and his Department of Justice.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
January 6th, 2021, Lower West Terrace Tunnel, 4:21 p.m. Roseanne Boyland is struck in the face with a pepper ball that is fired by Capitol Police. As people choke and gasp, protester and police officer alike, the demonstrators are pushed out of the tunnel into a pile on the steps. You can see the clouds of gas flowing over the trapped protesters as 31 pepperball rounds collide with the roof and walls, drenching everyone in the tunnel in deadly chemical irritants. After the protesters were pushed out of the tunnel, Roseanne is seen laying unconscious on the ground, bleeding from the mouth and nose. Then DC Metro Police Officer Lila Morris picks up a stick and beats Roseanne to death with it. The protesters pull Roseanne away from the police to do CPR on her as the police continue to spray pepper gas on the protesters, trying to save her life. After desperately trying to save Roseanne's life via CPR, the protesters present her to the police so they can save her life.
Okay, that's good.
Yikes.
Yeah, so, I mean, you have all this stuff that's going on, and to begin with, for there to be an insurrection, then there has to be a government that replaces that government. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't. Mm-mm. You just have people that were untrusting of the process of what has happened.
Yeah.
And were wanting an answer. Mm-hmm. And then there were some bad actors that were placed in there by the FBI and some other things that caused the things to go too far. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lots and lots of video of basically baiting that was happening by FBI planes.
They're pardoned. So there we go.
Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Now you have AOC and Ruskin that are wanting to file impeachment papers on Trump for pardoning them. Meanwhile, Biden does a pre-pardon before anything is even revealed, which tells you that there was, all of his family, his son, and Fauci, Finocchio, is all been pre-pardoned.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to stand. I think it's going to be overturned.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to go to trial.
Yeah. How can you pardon somebody that hasn't even been charged yet?
That just tells me that they should be charged.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty obvious.
I'm going to get a pre-pardon for something that I've done that I know you don't know yet, but you're going to find out. That's what that is.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we all know that. It's all videoed, of the FBI dressed up as
right
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's all been videoed.
Knuckle bumping the Capitol Police,
Yeah,
knocking out windows, and then blaming it
inviting
on.
people in. Come on in.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pull it off. I already got it started for you. We already know all of that.
Yeah.
And so, but they're pardoned. Hallelujah. And I'm glad. I'm glad they're pardoned because they've already spent 4 years in solitary confinement. I believe they paid their price, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care if they parked wrong. They paid their price. Murderers don't get 4 years.
Yeah, it's true.
So, moving along, what do we have in here that there's like great stuff that is going on? I do want to talk about a couple of things in Oregon that are happening that need to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to talk about the barred owl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in Oregon, because this you've got the DEI crap that's going on in Oregon, spending $50 million or something like that a year on DEI. You've got the barred owl. Ed Deal, Representative Ed Deal is heading that up. I think that's great. I think he's written a letter to the Doge saying this is inefficient spending, and I agree. What was that federal plan? It's actually $1.3 billion in tax funding to kill the barred owl. You know what's interesting about that is it is a protected species. What gives them the right to destroy a protected species, but I can't?
$1 billion.
$1 billion over 30 years is $20 million a year to go out and lethally take care of the barred owl, which is an invasive species that came into Oregon and is taking away the food from the spotted owl, and the spotted owl is slowly dying off. What happened to evolutionists? I'm not an evolutionist, but if you want to talk about evolution, let the barred owl die or the spotted owl die. Right? If they're being pushed out and they're not aggressive enough to feed themselves, like the dinosaurs, you're out. Meanwhile, they just put out a letter, and I don't have it here, saying they can't pay for, because of the Trump administration, they're not going to be able to pay for the bridge over I-5. I have a plan. Are you ready? Yeah. Go back to the barred owl.
There's a video if you want to watch it.
Yeah, of the barred owl?
You don't have to.
No, I don't have to watch that. Here, this is enough right here, right? Let me explain this to you. $1.3 billion, I think that could build a bridge. So what you do is you make it so they're not a protective species in Oregon, and hunters pay $25 a tag, and they get to go out and kill a barred owl. Now the state of Oregon makes money, saves $1.3 billion to build a stupid bridge, and guys get to go out and shoot a barred owl, and they take it to a taxidermist, and the taxidermist makes money, and then they sell the thing for $800. Now we have good
economics.
People are making money. I think that's a great idea. What's wrong with that? Now you're out there culling the barred owls. You could have some scientists say you got to kill, 300 of them in a month, and that's all you get. You give out 300 tags. They go out and they shoot the owl.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon's done that already successfully with the. There's the northern pike minnow in the Columbia River system, that this animal that comes and eats the salmon smelt, the little critters.
Yeah.
And so they've made this incentive.
A bounty.
Yeah, a bounty.
Put a bounty on them.
Right.
Well, they do it with coyotes.
Yeah.
Coyotes is a bounty. I don't know if it's in Oregon, but I know in Montana you got $75 a pelt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I had beer money in college.
Killing coyotes.
Killing coyotes.
Next.
So I have an answer. I have an answer for it all.
Amen.
Yeah. What is this?
They want.
Oh yeah.
$40 million less for DEI.
Yeah. Now they're crying about $40 million budget deficit of their own doing. Yeah, $74 million. Do you know how much? You know how much the budget is for Portland a year?
Oh, I've heard the number, but I don't remember.
$17.3 billion.
$17.3 billion.
Yes,
that's pretty big. For the
Milwaukee,
city,
Minnesota, Wisconsin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same size city.
Mm-hmm.
27 homeless.
All 27 of them.
27 homeless,
mm-hmm.
and they spend 1.3 billion for their city budget. Portland spends 17.3 billion and has an exorbitant amount of homeless and drug addiction.
Yeah,
and less police.
And what's the difference in policy? Massive.
They have less police.
Yeah,
less fire. We have less services in Portland than Milwaukee does.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the budget's bigger.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what's going on there. I'm sure. Well, also Milwaukee, Wisconsin does not fund all of these programs. Like Portland does.
No. No, and the school's going to be in a lot of trouble here because of this right here.
Yeah.
The ending of radical, wasteful, they're in trouble.
DEI.
What does it say here? The new Trump era instructs the federal government to investigate DEI at instructions of higher education with endowments of $1 billion. So all of the colleges, OSU, Oregon State, and University of Oregon, all of them, and actually it's going to include Portland as well, that have over that. They're telling them they got to get rid of DEI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's the people and the premise behind it is just upside down when it comes to common sense. It's not reality.
How are they going to do this now? He put out, the government defines only recognizes two sexes, male and female. How are they going to do that? How are they going to do that in Oregon? Yeah, you can save $100 million a year in salaries alone by getting rid of DEI. $100 million in Oregon. They throw out these numbers. This is what's amazing. Oh, it's just $100 million. That's all it is.
Oh, we need it.
For fart testing,
mental health, whatever.
I'm $100 million. You know what you can do with $100 million?
You could actually probably build that bridge too. We could build a bridge in Salem.
They just throw out money. Oh, $17.3 billion. Like, that's just chump change.
Yeah.
No, what they've done is I forget what is HB 2523 or something like that. Don't get my numbers. I'm off. I'm not correct. But it's like a 50-50 chance here.
If you're talking numbers.
Yeah, if you're talking numbers. But they just increased taxes again without your vote. They didn't ask for your vote. They just, we're going to tax them more. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Is that it?
So this is how much?
Portland City?
$27 million they're wanting to do to get to illegal.
Yeah, they wanted to give 27. Well, that's to protect them.
Right, to protect them from.
Yeah, $27 million to protect the illegals in Oregon.
Yeah.
That they've set aside. Whatever you do, don't. How many citizens? How many citizens are in Oregon? 4 million?
Yeah, 4.5.
I'm gonna do something here real quick. 4.5?
Pushing to aid, abet, and harbor illegal aliens, and that just backs up. While you're looking that up, I'll just speak to what that voicemail recording that you just played at the beginning of the broadcast. This is it's being purported as a hotline for racial or gender bias. If you're witnessing or experiencing these type of biases, then you call this hotline, which is the Oregon Department of Justice. But if you paid attention when that was playing also, what they are wanting to prosecute, the only reason why you bring these things up is because they intend to prosecute and to attach criminal charges to people that are engaged with this in the manner of hate speech. But it also has to do with actually deporting illegal aliens. If you see somebody, in other words, what they're setting this up for is if you see an ICE agent or if you see a
report them.
Immigration's customs and naturalization, if they are taking somebody that's an illegal alien, then you report them to the Oregon Department of Justice. Wait, what?
I don't think people understand how dumb all this is.
Yeah. And so there's money. This is already set up, so there's money already pouring into this to support it.
So if there's 4.5 million people, what we're doing is we're paying $6 a person for that program to be funded.
Mm-hmm.
I need $6. I got to go to Dutch Brothers.
Yeah.
No, listen to what's being said. And so they're raising the taxes because what's going to happen is you're going to see the federal funding begin to dry up in Oregon because they won't comply. They have an ideology over common sense. The barred owl is part of that. You look at that. They're willing to spend $1.3 billion on the barred owl to save a species that doesn't want to be saved. That says this is a protected species, the barred owl, but we know what's best to kill them. They said we can't get rid of them to begin with. Now they're saying we can get rid of them. So, you got to trust the science.
Science. They obviously don't really actually believe in science.
No, they don't.
They have faith in their ideology.
How about global warming and climate change? And you've got snow all over these Florida, Louisiana.
Well, if they'd quit blasting harp so crazy down there, they quit messing around with the weather and seeding all the clouds and all that. And it's so funny.
Trying to create it.
Yeah.
Trying to create something that isn't there.
Yeah. It's so funny to me that, I remember when I was a kid growing up that the people, you would call them a tinfoil hat nut job if they were talking about, cloud seeding or whatever. And yet now it's common knowledge. They're talking about, oh yeah, we've been doing this for 50 years. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I'm 48 years old. So since before I was a kid, in other words, since the 70s, it's actually been going back farther than that. They started doing it after World War II. If you listen to the sound bites about it, I mean, there is so much information on this stuff. They're putting toxic heavy metals and all this stuff. I can imagine that some of those things are going to end with RFK coming in too. Right?
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. And so right now you've got every liberal you can scrambling.
Yeah,
scrambling. I mean, 1,000. He fired 1,000 people in one day. And it's funny. General Milley. You know how he fired him over Twitter.
Oh, jeez.
Let it be known this is your official notice of being fired. And then they took his picture off the wall and put it in the men's bathroom.
Wow.
Right above the urinal. No, they didn't do that, but they did take his picture right off.
Yeah.
That guy was a tool.
Yeah.
All right, what do we have next?
Stop car farting. Cow farting will be good.
Car farting.
Yes.
Yeah, I put that back up again, this Portland thing, because most people don't know this.
The tax rate.
The tax rate. Local taxes on city businesses rose to 82% in 2019 to 2023.
They rose 82%.
82%.
In other words, you're almost playing double.
Right.
In a matter of 4 years.
That's correct. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Almost doubled in 40 years.
Yeah.
And look at that other tidbit. People leaving Portland have higher incomes than new arrivals.
That's correct.
In other words, the amount of finance coming in is decreasing.
I was sharing this with somebody. They burned L.A. Because it's going to be a land grab. You're going to find that it's going to become a land grab, and it's going to be, L.A. 2.0.
Oh yeah, super happy and excited.
And
Newsom.
then they her.
Yeah,
he goes to his old mime days.
Yeah, with the black
old
face.
Newsom. Yeah,
gruesome Newsom there.
Yeah, and so you have all this is going on. all the blue states are going after land grabs, and it's gonna happen in Portland, but it's not gonna happen with a fire. They're not gonna burn Portland. What they're doing is they're taxing people out, and they're making it poverty so that they can buy up property, because property owners are gonna get desperate and they're just gonna like sell it off to. It's already happened in Salem, Oregon, where we've gone out to look for property before as a church, and they're like, but yeah, the state is interested in this, and they're offering us top dollar. Yeah, and then they're going to come in and they're going to have you revamp everything, and it's going to be a lease for about 3 years, and then they're going to leave it, and it's going to be a dump, and you're not going to be able to lease it back out again.
Because it's all set up for
10 million offices that never get filled.
Yeah, with all of the pods
and the DEI people.
Yeah, all the DEI bathrooms. That was one of the.
And that's it right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That explains a lot of things.
Hawaii, North Carolina, and LA getting toasted. Meanwhile,
Ukraine is partying.
Billions and billions of dollars going to Ukraine.
It's true.
Huh. Imagine that. Yowzer.
Right now it's a land grab in North Carolina. Land grab in Hawaii. It'd be a land grab in LA. And they're working on that in Portland, but they're doing it in a different way. They're doing it through social injustice. And so you have fentanyl still flowing in like a river in Portland. You've got at least one overdose a day in Portland. At least one.
1 point something. It's 400 and some per year. Just in Portland alone.
Just in Portland. That's not talking about the rest of the state.
State of Oregon in 2023 was over 1,000 across the whole state from drug overdose.
Too many. That's 1,000 too many.
Yeah.
And wasted lives. And we don't know how many of that was done in the snuff films in Portland that were done that way. We have no idea. You've got all these things that are going on, and they're worried about deporting people. And I want to address something also with the deportation, and that has to do with babies being born here, birthright. And people are complaining, now they're going to get these babies that were born here from illegal aliens. They deserve to have citizenship. That is not the 14th Amendment, just so you know. Because otherwise, you could be on vacation from like Germany at Disneyland, and your wife's pregnant and goes into labor, it has a baby, then that person is a U.S. citizen. It doesn't work that way. An ambassador, they end up having a baby on U.S. soil. It's not a U.S. citizen. It doesn't work that way. If you come in illegally and you have a baby and as an illegal citizen, that is not a U.S. citizen. That's not how it works. That's not the 14th Amendment. So understand how it works. And actually, can you post that video on the comments of where to look for that on the 14th Amendment? Can you do that, Mr. Neal? You should be able to do a copy. I don't think you can do a drag and drop, but I think you can do a copy and paste or a share. Just do a share and then copy the link. But anyways, so we have all this that's going on. And what do we have up here? What's next? What do we have next that we can yammer on about?
Locally, I have some stuff from Ed. You want more Ed stuff?
No.
Ideology.
What else we got?
We got national board, the emergency at the southern border.
Go ahead.
Immigrants. Stuff like that.
Show the video.
Beyond this point will result in the arrest, prosecution, and possible application.
Close down the borders. No border crossings right now at all.
Advertencia. Esta es una área restringida federal.
That was the next day. That was the next day after he signed.
El movimiento no autorizado más allá de este punto dará lugar a la detención, al procesamiento y la aplicación posible de la fuerza. Personnel. Unauthorized entry or movement beyond this point will result in the arrest.
Yeah, that was the next day. Yeah, the crime. We don't have to do that because otherwise it's going to.
A Dominican migrant now facing federal charges after police say he was keeping an assault rifle and $1 million worth of fentanyl and cocaine hidden in his room at an emergency Massachusetts shelter that's set up for families. He doesn't have a family there. The governor is finally answering calls to make a change, ordering
176 what? Domestic violent incidents.
But only after a number
46 fights, 25 assaults, 14 sex charges, offenses, 13 drug indictments, and he gets to hang out in America. It's great.
That's all just in Massachusetts.
That's not him.
No, that's just people.
That's in Massachusetts.
That's in Massachusetts. It's great.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. I wanted to touch briefly again on the drug overdose in Oregon. The number is actually over 1,800 in 2023. So 2022, 1,300. 2023, 1,800. And the year before was actually even 2021 was even less. It was below 1,000. So since they've implemented the foolishness of drug decriminalization or toothless recriminalization, it is just decimated people's lives. Literally, people in the state of Oregon dying of drug overdose by the 1,000 every year.
Yep, it's amazing. Yeah, that was the first day that he signed. Is not over yet. What did he say? What is this?
Fired Mark Milley, 1,000 presidential appointees from previous.
Yeah, he fired them all. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. That's another big one.
One flag.
One flag. All department can't fly any more rainbow flags. Next. Delivers emergency price relief from American families. Yep. Withdrawing from the United States from the World Health Organization.
Praise God.
Yeah, we did that. That saved us one. There we go.
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir.
Ooh.
Ooh, keep on playing. No, go back. Play the rest of that.
What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir.
Ooh, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Ooh. I think it's $1 billion a year that we save with the WHO.
Wow.
And it's $500 million a year with the WEF. Yeah, I like this. This is a great one. This guy gets kicked out for speaking up against things that were not
Marxism.
Yeah, speaking against Marxism, and he gets kicked out of the military. And then Trump goes, "You know what? I like you. I'm going to put you in charge." Play the video.
My name is Matt Lohmeyer. I was an Air Force F-15 pilot, and I was a commander in your newly created U.S. Space Force. I am also the first veteran of the Space Force because under the Biden-Harris regime, I was fired from my command and lost my pension for criticizing DEI trainings that were rampant in the military. Those trainings are still dividing our troops, and thank you for saying you would fire those few woke generals who are a big problem. I'm going to suggest that it might, in fact, require ongoing oversight and a persistent, consistent, watchful eye within the Pentagon to ensure this monster never returns to the Defense Department. Will you consider establishing a special task force office to ensure that these monsters never return to the Defense Department?
You know what I'll do? I'm going to put you on that task force. I think it's good. It's not going to do better than him. I'll put you on. We're not going to get better than him.
Yep, there he is.
Hey. Praise God.
Yeah,
hey, Jazz. Love you.
Now he's on that task force.
Boom.
Fired the other guy. Fired DEI and put him on. Next.
Amen.
We need to be very careful. This is a bill about our kids.
Yeah.
We need to be very careful about our kids, and I do not believe that we are looking at the evidence.
I think we'll have him on the show here soon.
The evidence that Europe is seeing, that everybody's seeing, we are not following that. And I do not understand why we are not. And we're going to look back 10 years from now and go, my God, what did we do? What did we let happen?
I think 10 years...
We are not following good standards of care. And so what happens there is, yes, some kids are helped.
That's good. What's going to happen is they are going to find that the suicide rate went through the roof with all of this, and that kids are damaged for life with this. But the people that passed that law aren't going to care 10 years from now because they didn't care now.
Right.
If they cared now, they would care about it later. They would look that this is going to be harmful, and they wouldn't have done it to begin with. But they don't care, and they're not going to care then. They got their power, they got their position, they got their money from the all the lobbyists. They don't care. They don't care right now, and I applaud Ed Deal for standing up. I'm
Amen.
thankful for him.
Absolutely.
What does it say here? Oregon yeah,
Underwater by 30 billion.
30 billion. I wonder where that money went.
Youch.
What do we got here?
It's just more about how they.
Yeah, they don't care. They're after an ideology, and we know this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious. I've got my popcorn, and I'm going to sit back and watch what happens in the next 4 years, because it's going to be really an interesting game. Keep on going. Putting people over fish. Yep. Stopping radical environmentalism. Did that. Done. Yeah. We all know that. What is that? The fire, all the fire stuff that went to Oregon that went to yeah.
Antifa members,
stuff.
Not fire department.
Nope, Antifa.
Antifa members responsible for California wildfires.
Dressing up like firemen.
Mm-hmm.
And starting fires.
It
should be a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
But yet, they're okay right here in Oregon. No,
it's
they're
an
not.
ideology.
Listen, I know from personal experience, they don't have people's best interest in mind.
No.
I know from personal experience.
Yeah.
Go on next.
Gavin Newsom asked for donations to LA wildfire victims by pointing people to a website set up by his campaign committee. The website, CaliforniaFireFacts.com, urges users to give money to the California Fire Foundation, then links them to a module from Act Blue, which says the money is being raised by Campaign for Democracy, Newsom's super PAC. The California Fire Foundation helps firefighters, their families, and victims, and allows users to donate directly without having to go through the Act Blue platform. But why let people donate directly when you can tack on a 3.95% processing fee and a side of political spam? So yes, you can donate directly if you use the foundation's link, but where's the fun in that? Gavin Newsom can't win Iowa with that plan.
Yeah, this is a big one. I know personally
about it,
and I can't divulge a lot of things that I know personally because of what I know. But I know that actively, Mr. Soros has been actively going throughout the United States, buying up talk radio, especially conservative talk radio stations, and then making them oldies music and Hispanic stations.
Mm-hmm.
So it says here, billionaire George Soros recently bought 200 plus radio stations in 40 markets with 165 million listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Biden fast-tracked the deal before the November election. And that's true. It takes you sometimes up to 5 years to get the FCC license when you do a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
It can take up to 5 years.
Yeah, and yet these all happened, and underneath of this thing, and yet they're claiming that Trump's pushing for oligarchy or nepotism.
No, he's pushing for freedom of speech.
Yeah,
and freedom of religion, freedom to be able to pursue happiness. He's an America first.
Yes,
he's. And I don't know why people have been so gaslighted that we're a global community.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. This is America. America actually was founded on people running from globalism.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They were.
Yes. Yeah. Whether it was from Spain or whether it was from England or
it was globalism,
yes.
And they were running from it because they didn't have freedom of religion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And freedom to pursue happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't own land without being a sir or a lord.
Mm-hmm. From the family.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The family.
So keep on going. What do we have next? Yeah, this is amazing. Old Mr., Elon got raked over the coals, but you can see all of these wonderful liberals doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And AOC doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And AOC was like going at it with him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi. Play this because it's actually, go back and play the audio. Can you play the audio?
It's not playing with audio.
Oh, it's not? Because they dubbed it over with the
See,
right
Kyle.
with the Reichels. Yeah. Then
That's terrible.
Oh man,
this lady, woman, excuse me. Don't even need to play it because most people heard of how foolish and woke she is.
But this is a representative of that woke ideology of Jesus's love. Let me tell you right now. Jesus is returning with the sword that proceeds out of his mouth and fire in his eyes, and on his thigh is written King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Mm-hmm.
And the hosts of heaven are going to be following behind him to judge the world according to what they have and have not done with what they've been given.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, it says every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord.
Yeah.
But at that time, it's going to be too late. If you bow your knee at that time, it'll be too late because you had the opportunity by faith to receive Jesus.
That's right.
And it does come with boundaries, my friend.
Yeah.
Who shall ascend the mountain of the Lord but he who has clean hands and a pure heart? Without holiness, no one will see God. So when you go into that thing, I want to play it.
All right. Praise
Go
God.
ahead and play that video. Because I'm going to address some things.
Amen.
And I'm a man of God. And I'm not going to back away on things. Go ahead.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
Stop.
There are gay, lesbian.
Yeah. Gay, lesbian, migrant workers. I want to break something down of how horrible of a speech this is. But okay, what are they in fear of in America? What are they in fear of? Everybody has equal rights under the Constitution in America. That's the beauty about America. Yeah. There's not a different constitution for LGBTQ. Right. There's not a different constitution. It's the same constitution.
Yes.
Same laws apply.
Yes.
All the way down the line.
Equal rights.
We're not dragging people that are living a homosexual lifestyle into the streets and shooting them.
No.
Like they did with in Nazi Germany. We're not doing that.
Or like Antifa's done with Christians.
That is correct. Or like what was done with us.
Yeah.
I've never ever gone to a gay march and threw urine balloons and poop balloons and fireworks at people because they were marching.
And
never did it. Never going to.
Destroyed all their electronic equipment.
People are living in fear of what? What are they living in fear of? They're living in fear of not being able to live their life with depravity in the open streets. Mm-hmm. Doing strip things out in the streets in front of children, having drag queen shows in front of children. Is that what they're afraid of? That they can't do that stuff anymore? That you can't move forward to having pedophilia become legal? Is that what it is? Keep on going.
Lesbian and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people.
Listen to this.
Who pick our crops.
Pick our crops.
And clean our office buildings.
Clean our offices.
And poultry farms and meat packing plants. Who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens.
Stop.
Or have
you know the people that wash my dishes and clean my underwear and the people that pick the food out of the crops.
Bring me my food.
What a frickin' racist statement.
Talk about bias.
You want to talk about bias and racist?
Yeah.
That is a racist statement. Yeah. I would never be like, you know what? Yeah. Those people, the bottom rung people that pick my vegetables. Right. Why would you say that? Who are you referring to? Oh, she'll say it. Go ahead and hit play.
Proper documentation.
Oh, what?
Without proper documentation.
The vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Oh, stop. She's saying that the immigrants are the lower tier people And we need, you got to be careful with them because, then they won't wash our dishes anymore. They won't pick our crops anymore. They won't do our laundry. They won't process our meat anymore.
Clean the hotels.
Who do you think you are? You want to talk about debasing humans?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? There's no doctors and lawyers?
Did not mention that.
No,
there's no doctors and lawyers in those group of people.
No white collar, blue collar.
There's no business owners. There's no entrepreneurs in that because there's a guy that had $1 million worth of fentanyl in his room. I would call him an entrepreneur. Why don't you call them entrepreneurs? No, I can't stand that stuff. And when somebody stands up there and says they believe in God and that Jesus would never, ever speak against people like, I'm telling you right now, Jesus speaks against people like this. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
They pay taxes and are good neighbors.
They
are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples.
Make sure you put religion on top of it.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our community.
He does have mercy on them.
Whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
Oh, man.
And that
We're going to rip them away.
War zones and persecution in their own lands.
How insulting.
Find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us.
Oh,
our we God. Are to be merciful.
Stop.
To the
He teaches us to be merciful. Yes. But so where do we draw the line with mercy in the belief? Where do we draw the line? Are you okay with showing mercy to the murderers? Because she didn't mention that. She not one time said, God bless the families that have lost their children. What was her name? That was just, raped violently and then hacked to pieces.
Yeah.
Lacey, whatever her name, I think it's something Lacey. She what about her? What about her family? Where was the prayer for the victims of people that are from illegal immigrants that came over here? And as far as that is, even from people that are U.S. citizens that have been victims of death. There's a young man that was murdered. You could go on and on and on of all of this. Where's the mercy? You want to talk about mercy? Stop worrying about whether you're going to have food that was picked by an illegal immigrant or your dishes washed or your clothes cleaned. And start worrying about the people that lost loved ones because they were raped and murdered and hacked into pieces. What about that?
I mean, there's many. You type it in and it's not just one name.
No,
there's dozens and
dozens of names. And then you have the Democratic Party saying we're voting that they don't get deported. We love you. We'll see you next week. We're going to continue along the same line. Bye.